get started, I just want to thank all of my supporters and my viewers and my members and all of my supporters for supporting my channel. If everyone's aware, my channel is on the road to reach its first 250,000 subscribers, and none of this would be possible without everybody's ongoing support. So with that being said, let's get down to another very important lecture, which is don't let your finances manage you. Do not let your finances manage you. You got a lot of people who are working 2 jobs, 3 jobs, or long hours, but for whatever reason, they cannot seem to get control of the finances, that money piece. And it's so critical. You gotta, I no way in the world I would have been able to fully retired from the workforce September 2023 with a diversified portfolio. I'm telling you about it, that debt to income ratio is critical. It's not about how much you make. I'm gonna just keep this thing real. It's about who in the world do you owe. And the lower you get your debt, that frees up more disposable income. This is one of these topics that directly ties into the mission, goals, and objective of my company, my brand, my book, my channel. Anything dealing with that money piece and diversifying your income and rising above your financial situation is the core foundation behind this channel. So, you gotta manage your finances versus your finances managing you. I'm going to present some tips and strategies that I literally utilize all the way up until now, especially when I had that spiritual awakening in 2012 and God gave me the skills to manage my money. First and foremost is you got to set up the right bank accounts or critical. That's critical. Setting up those banking accounts, checking accounts, savings accounts, emergency fund, 401 accounts. That's critical. That has to be done. Number one. Another critical tip is you gotta claim ownership. You must claim ownership to your current financial situation. You gotta know what's coming in. You gotta know what's coming out. You gotta claim ownership to your financial situation. If you know you're doing all this spending and swiping credit cards and borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, it's really a reason behind that. And that ties into claiming ownership to your current financial situation. You gotta make a plan for your money. You gotta make a plan for your money. Meaning sitting down, getting a piece of paper, writing down a strategy, a business plan in relation to how you're gonna pay off your debt, how much you wanna start saving and investing, and put it on paper. You gotta have a plan, because without a plan, you're setting yourself up for failure. You must set money goals. I can remember when I was in the workforce and rising above my financial situation, one of the things I did is I deliberately got a part-time job, and I had a purpose for that money. I set money goals, and a part of that part-time money was I was beginning to start slamming or knocking out debt, getting that debt down, increasing my portfolio. So you gotta set money goals. I talk to a lot of people working full-time, working a couple part-time jobs, and I talk to a lot of people, and when I hear that they're working multiple jobs or long hours, the first thing I ask them, have you set money goals and put it on a strategic business plan on paper? That is critical. You gotta also check in with your finances, every day, every week, every month. And what I mean by checking into your finances, you got to be knowing what's in your bank account, knowing what's coming in, knowing what's coming out, knowing how your credit score look with all 3 major credit bureaus, Equifax, TransUnion, Experian. You got to know how your portfolio look. You got to be looking at this. You have got to be looking at this, especially monitoring that checking account. You gotta monitor that checking account at least 1 or 2 times a week. So, and what that does is, so you can be aware of what's in there. So you can be so ensure you don't overdraft on that bank account. You gotta be monitoring it on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. You also gotta manage your expenses, and that ties into getting the debt down. Paying off those credit cards, paying off that school loan, paying off that car notes, paying off that mortgage, paying off those unexpected bills. You have got to get the debt down. My debt to income ratio, debt is 0, income up here. Yeah, I have small bills in terms of utilities, food, gas, and cell phone bill, but I have no real debt. And this woman has been debt free since 2012. And that's a powerful thing. And it is a skill set. It is a skill set to position yourself. It can be done. Because when I was living in my financial destruction, I had not 1 cent in my name. All accounts overdraft, all of them. Borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. Still going to work every day. So you have got to manage your expenses. You got to take a look at your income. You got to know what's coming in. You got to know what's going out. And you got to develop up a plan to begin to pay down your debt. Write it down on paper. I had a strategic plan where I literally paid off my 30-year mortgage 20 years early. I was sending in multiple payments. My part-time income was slamming on the principal. And I had to specifically specify with all of that money I was sending on that mortgage. I told them, you got to make sure that extra money goes towards the principal. Every time I got a bonus, I was slamming money on that mortgage. I went to the mailbox one day. My deed to my home was in my mailbox 20 years early. That's all because I had a business goal in place to pay that mortgage off 20 years early. And I've done bills. I paid off multiple bills early in terms of mortgage, in terms of all of my car notes. This thing is real because I wanted to free up more money to invest into my retirement, my portfolio, my emergency savings account, so I was able to exit up out of the workforce years early with multiple retirement checks hitting me for the rest of my life. None of that would have been possible if I would not have took control of my money, managed my money versus the money managing me. Meaning every time you get paid, the money already gone. Every time you get that paycheck, it's gone. I'm telling you, and that all ties into Awake Financial Freedom, where I share my testimony on how God gave me these skills in that testimony I wrote in terms of how to get my income up here and the debt so low is almost scary. I was literally talking to my niece today, who's a registered nurse, smart as a whip, and she is sucking up this knowledge because my niece, who's in her early 40s, says she wanna be in the position that her aunt is in to exit up out of this workforce with multiple retirement checks. It's never too late. It is never too late to implement this. I was in my early to mid 40s without 0 cent to my name and was able to exit up out of the workforce 10 years later, debt free. So it can be done. You gotta start paying down the debt. If you are cultivating a side business, and I need for the world to hear this, because I see a lot of people create financial destruction when they're cultivating a side business, rather you're trying to monetize your YouTube channel, or if you're selling on Facebook Marketplace, or if you got a side business selling t-shirts or real estate or whatever. You gotta still make sure you maintain your full-time job as you cultivate that side business, so that business is getting to the point where it can you can be able to pay all your bills and invest and etc. I've always had my company, Patterson Associates Resource Center, simultaneously when I was in the workforce. My company 20 plus years strong. But there were many times throughout that journey, my company was not generating revenue, but I still had my retirement job. I still had my full-time career. I wasn't going to quit my job. just because I was trying to cultivate my business early in the early stages of it. No, I got up and I went to work every day because I looked at that job as another stream of income, and I'm here to tell you. So you gotta sustain, if you're trying to cultivate and develop and nurture or your own business, make sure you sustain your livelihood until the business you are cultivating can make you a living. You know, and even still then you still need you might want to have some other sources of income, because if my company, Patterson Associates Resource Center, right now in the here and now, if it don't do too good in revenue one particular month, or if the sales of my book don't do too good in revenue on one particular month, it don't matter, because I got my retirement checks hit me over here no matter what, which is more streams of income. So I tell people, don't go broke chasing your dreams. Don't create financial destruction chasing your dreams. You still need to maybe consider to have consider in it, you need a full-time job, that money that you know that's going to be there, and think of your other business ventures as another stream of income. And then you begin to invest and diversify your income. And then now you got multiple streams of income. Because a lot of my streams of income is more passive now, but I had to put the footwork in it in terms of the sales of my book, money I'm making under my company, but I'm still got my retirement over here, because I see a lot of people digging that hole deeper and deeper and deeper when they're chasing those dreams. Don't give up your day job or whatever shift you're working, rather it's first shift, second shift, third shift, don't matter. It's nothing wrong with having 2 or 3 or 4 good streams of income, so you can continue to invest and create that generational wealth. And I'm here to tell you. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have. Tune in for April 6, 2024. I'm starting at 11. From 11 noon, I'm gonna do a lecture on the 13 steps in order for a publisher to transform an accepted manuscript. You notice I said accepted. Just because you submit your manuscript to a publisher, that don't mean they're going to accept it. They're going to either accept or reject that manuscript. That publisher ain't going to accept mess. That world-renowned publisher, they got a brand to protect. So I'm going to present the 13 steps that a reputable publisher, what they do to transform an accepted manuscript into a published book and make it available worldwide for consumers. My book, Awake Financial Freedom, went through 2 world-renowned publishing companies. So that means I had to pay 2 fat bills to 2 separate publishing companies to transform my manuscript into a published book. The second publishing company, really, their job was kind of easy, because they had to transform my published work into an audio book. The book was already published, but now I had to pay for them to transform published work. We ain't talking about no manuscript. I'm talking about a published book that has already been published by a world-renowned publishing company. So I had to pay Audiobook Network a second fee to transform my published work into an audiobook and make it available for consumers worldwide. So if you want to find out what those 13 steps are, mark your calendar. Because on February 6, 2024 at 11 o'clock, I'm going to be ready to get down to business. And again, I want to thank all of my supporters, my subscribers, my members, my viewers, my sponsors. My channel is on the very close. It's on the trajectory path, and I got that on my business plan to reach its first 250,000 subscribers. None of that would be impossible without everybody's support. Pretty soon, June of this year, my channel will be 4 years old, and I can clearly remember, like yesterday, when I only had 2 subscribers for months on my channel. So that's all I have. Simple Fidelis, and I'm going to leave you in the care of your own conscience. Have a great day.